The success of the beef industry depends on the ability of producers to work together and build a strong, united front. The Federation of State Beef Councils was created 60 years ago to bring producers together to help build beef demand. Today, we're going to take a closer look at the role of the Federation, which is housed by the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, a contractor to the Beef Checkoff program. Here to talk more about this is Todd Johnson, Senior Vice President of Federation Services. Todd, let's start with a little history lesson. Tell us a little about the history of the Federation.
It's important when we think about the history of the Federation of State Beef Councils to actually reflect on the Federation or the individual state beef councils and their rich history. Credit needs to be given to California as the first state to create a beef council, and the leaders in that state that came forward during a time of drought that was forcing herd liquidation, which was forcing oversupply of beef into the marketplace and consequently lower beef prices. So California leaders from all sectors of the industry, cow-calf and feeder, to the packers, the retailers, and even food service operators, came together and created a 10-cent per head voluntary checkoff program that was hopeful to generate $100,000 for their first advertising campaign. So credit is given to California for creating the first beef council in 1954. And then Montana followed shortly after that with a similar model about local control, producer-funded programming that could benefit the beef marketing and education space. Since that time, in the early 50s, several other beef councils were created, and eventually, through the Federation, became one group in 1963. And that was a division of the National Livestock and Meat Board at that time.
Sure. So tell us who all is involved in the Federation today and how do they get involved?
Every state is involved, and that's the beauty of the Federation. And it's really in two specific ways. There's a staff component of this where state beef council staff from across the country are coordinating literally on a daily basis, and they're executing programs on behalf of the beef checkoff in their state and across the country. Then there's the producer side, which is really the governance of our organization. So every state that invests into the Federation brings with that representation from their board to the national board, which then oversees programming.
So what do you see as the primary benefits of this multi-state effort?
It's really two-pronged. I think it's coordination and it's leverage. I say coordination because when we see state beef councils working together collectively, we have a lot better impact. Let's take, for example, the recent release of the Beef as a First Food nutrition-based research program that helped consumers and health influencers understand the value of beef as a weaning food for babies. When all the state beef councils are pulling together on a coordinated program, the consumer and that influencer is hearing a consistent message across the country. So we've really got a strong coordination role to play. And we also have leverage of producer dollars because we're doing things collectively and we're not recreating the wheel. So we're able to leverage those dollars, which are scarce, as valuably as possible.
That makes lots of sense to me. Now, you've mentioned the governance several times in terms of being led by a set of producer leaders, volunteer producer leaders. And I'm curious, you all get lots of proposals for lots of different ways that we can build beef demand. How do you both evaluate those proposals and then ultimately identify the success of those proposals or evaluate the success?
Yeah, I want to keep going back to the state level because it's really where it starts. And we're so fortunate that amongst all the beef councils across the country, there's approximately 700 producers collectively serving on those state boards.
Wow.
So the decisions to invest in programs start there. They start at the state beef council level. And that's an opportunity for grassroots input, expertise from the local level to guide programming through the system. The great thing that the Checkoff provides, of course, is a return on investment study every year. And that program is done to look comprehensively at the Checkoff. We know that the role of state beef councils plays a significant impact on that. And we find any time we can coordinate and look consistently at what we want to deliver, we're able to be more successful.
You know, a lot has changed since the 1950s and 60s in the beef industry. Why is the Federation of State Beef Councils so critical to the beef industry today in 2023?
As I think about the proud history of our industry, that pride is based on independence and autonomy, and farmers and ranchers and dairymen and feeders, they're all doing the production system in the way that works best for them. Mm-hmm. I think the Federation has a strong role to play in bringing the consumer-facing work together with a common plan. Mm-hmm. So depending on where we come from, what part of the country or what industry segment, mm-hmm. we're going to see the production side look different. But when we work together on a consumer front, whether that's our research, education, and promotion efforts, mm-hmm. the Federation allows this mechanism for all those states with unique and different ideas mm-hmm. to come together in a unified way. Mm-hmm. That's where the Federation has value in providing demand-building programs for consumers.
And I, for one, believe you all have been very successful. Thanks for all the work you do.
We appreciate it, and we're so grateful for the support and the leadership of producers across the country.
Absolutely. Do you want to learn more about the Federation of State Beef Councils and its efforts to build beef demand? Just visit the website, ncba.org, and click on the Federation link.